What's up, guys? Welcome back, man, to another episode of the Sim Standard Hangout. Definitely happy to bring another show to you guys, man. Let me just pull up everything as far as all the topics and all of that. Y'all know the routine, man. We'll go around, see how everybody's doing, how everybody's week was going. I seem to be the only one right now that can speak on behalf of a team. You know, the Steelers survive, and I'll definitely get into that, but I'll throw it to AZ first, man. You know, Smitty should be coming on here in a moment. Well, actually, there is Smitty. I see Smitty there. So we'll throw it to Smitty to keep the normal routine. And like I said, guys, after that, I'll give you the topics. Mostly the topics are tentative. Y'all know they can change at any given time depending on you guys. But we'll try to hit as many as possible. But without further ado, Smitty, how was your week, man? Anything you want to say outside of the topics?
Yeah. First, excuse me. No, I mean, week was good. You know, obviously Lions are out, pretty much done. So all they talking about now is contractual type stuff. Talking about Matt Stafford and him deserving that extension, and the Lions are stuck and all that. It's like wilding out on all that. No, it's not like we're a bad team or anything like that. So I only see us getting better, especially with Bob Quinn and who draft and free agency. I see us getting better. And I mean, especially if we come back and our players are healthy, our core guys that we rely on are healthy, then I believe we'll be pretty solid. But the Steelers pulled it out because, like I say, when I was streaming the other day, I'm rooting for the Steelers. Like, I want the Steelers to get it. I want Big Ben to get another one. You know what I mean? Real talk. So I'm glad that they pulled that game out. I mean, hey,
Crazy
you know
game.
what? I gotta say though, James Harrison, man. Hey, man. And what's even crazy, you know what? That's old school regimen right there because they just won the game. You get off. I think they just got home off the flight or whatever. They just got home, and my man hit the gym fresh after the game's over. It's like 4 a.m. He in the gym, or I think that night after the game was over, like he in the gym doing sets. Like, dude, man. I'm telling you, that's
an example right there.
That's how you stay right. That's how your body stay right. Like you getting ready, all ready for the next game, doing sets and everything. So that's crazy. So, but I mean, him and that game, and then Aaron Rodgers, and hey,
I told people, didn't I say it? That was my upset pick.
Hey, you know what,
Rodgers, man,
I can't. To see him get blasted in the back the way he did, and think about it, but right before he got blasted, he was just patting the ball in his hand. Not even thinking about the shot. And then he had his hands just close enough when he took that shot that he was able to absorb it and go down. And then he just got right back up like, let's take a quick timeout. No, it's just like he ain't even sweating it. Nah, this ain't nothing. He throw it over to the sideline. Now, see, this is a key thing because I know here in Detroit, they talk about, if you put Matt Stafford in those situations, like if he was on Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers was here and all that, I'm like, look, Aaron Rodgers can make the throw. I believe in heck from seeing. I know Stafford can make some good throws too, but the receivers got to catch it. That play's not made without Cook making the adjustments and making the plays. What's his name? Rodgers can throw it to the spot, but the receivers got to come away with it. You see what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. It's half and half. His greatness, I know people put him up there in the echelon like, the Michael Jordans and the LeBrons of the world. Like, they're putting him on that level. But I'm like, he's not on that level without those receivers catching, making adjustments and doing key stuff like that. So I can't necessarily say, like, I would equate what Aaron Rodgers did to all them games, Stafford leading the charge and bringing us back, for like nine straight games, or like, well, I'd say 9 games. He brings us back late in the game like that when that shouldn't happen. See what I mean? So it's like, when you look at that, those are those kind of greatness traits where it's like, man, just think if we had more talent, or if the receiving core we had was more poised, or just think if like this, and this is the main point, and then I'll throw it back to you, Sim. When you look at guys like Big Ben, Tom Brady, I mean, his offensive line has regressed a little bit, but the one thing that's undeniable is that here I'm gonna let you get down on the floor, making a bit too much noise. There you go. But now the issue, I mean, not the issue, excuse me. You look at Big Ben, you look at Tom Brady, even though his line regresses here and there, and you look at Aaron Rodgers. These dudes have stellar. Even Russell Wilson, until I would say this year, previously, like those, especially the years he made the Super Bowl run and everything, they had stellar offensive lines, stellar protection. If Aaron Rodgers had no run game at all whatsoever, he wouldn't be able to pick the field apart like that because his game would be too predictable. He would only be able to make so many good throws. He'd only be able to make so many plays with his legs that he'll go mess around and be like what ended up happening with Vic or what happened with Kaepernick. They're gonna get hip to you and you're gonna get lit. But he had a running game to complement that, just like what you guys got. You got Le'Veon. You got one of the top receivers in the game. You got one of the top receivers in the game and one of the top running backs in the game. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even have Bryant. Just think if you had Bryant out there. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you had that, y'all probably would have blew the gate wide open in that game the other day. So that's what I'm saying. That line is so critical. You know what I mean? Even with the secondary, the secondary isn't the best, but you do a good job. But they do a great job though of generating pressure. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that they know how to do very well. They know how to generate some good pressure with their blitzes. And I mean, James Harrison coming around that edge, and he gets real low. That's what cost them, like a holding penalty is what put them out because they made the play. They got the 2-point conversion.
So that was holding. Because everybody was telling me that wasn't a holding call. That's what they was telling me, Smitty. That was not holding.
You got your arm going across his body and you holding him like this, that's holding, man.
No, they said I'm just biased. I was like, okay. Yeah. I don't know nothing about football now. I'm just biased.
No, that was holding all day because he got there. If he didn't hold him, he's getting there and getting the stop. So he would have made the stop. He probably would, you know what I mean? So it's like, but I'm just saying, we need help in that offensive line play big time. We get that protection. That's why I've said multiple times, especially during the season, that 2011 season where we had a legitimate receiving core, but we had a balanced run attack to complement the pass. That's why Stafford lit up for so many yards, because we had a reliable receiving core. It wasn't all Megatron. Is that we had a reliable receiving core and we had a reliable balanced running game. We were able to hurt you multiple ways. See what I'm saying? Now our defense was suspect, but our offense was on tap, at least that season. But then that all fell apart. So, we had what you have, like what Green Bay has. I mean, they don't have all-star receivers, but heck, you put a good enough offensive line. I mean, look, their offensive line is good enough that they could take a wide receiver, put them at halfback, and be effective. You see what I'm saying? I mean, come on. You can we have to take this guy and put him here, and he can do his thing. That's all. That makes a huge difference. That's why Brett Favre looked as good as he did in Green Bay. That O-line he had was retarded. Mm-hmm. So, dudes will be standing around looking like, oh, who are we supposed to block? Because they got it all hemmed up. What am I supposed to do? Like, they just looking because he had that kind of protection. You know what I mean? Dorsey Levens wasn't a beast of a running back, but he was good enough. You see what I'm saying? Like, he was more than serviceable for him, but because they had such a great potent passing attack, it opened up the run game. Like it was really hard to stop. And that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as Detroit is concerned, that's what we need to get to in order to really be a formidable, I should say, formidable force, so to speak. But last thing I want to say though, real quick, I doubt it would be cutting into a topic. I'm not really going to go into a topic or anything, but I just want to say that PX1 and I had got some responses earlier about playing the game on unpatched and everything, and thinking that I'm just seeing I'm just, it's basically an oversight, like things that I missed from before or whatever. I'm just now discovering or what have you. Like, it's no big deal. Nah, bruh. There's a whole myself, Sim AZ. We've been playing this game since what, July? You know what I mean? From the beta. We've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And the intriguing thing is that when I see stuff, I'm not the only one that's playing the game this way. I'm not the only guy. I look on Operation Sports, and there's people that are purposely playing it this way. They're not doing that just because. They're doing it because they played the game with the patch, with all the patches and the updates, and they see the game is not the same. It's been nerfed. So they're bringing it back to the original state. I did live streams on it, so that's why I'm saying, like, when guys need some kind of evidence of it, I'll stream the game. So I'm going to be streaming them. So you'll see the game and how different it is. And this is the other thing too. What Sim and I said, AZ said it too. Madden 17 going from 16 to 17 is more of a game you got to feel than just play and visually. Like, you're just going to see it all. Not necessarily. It's more of, you got to feel it too. And you're going to feel the difference in terms of how the gameplay is, not just from a visual standpoint as well. So, but that's why I just wanted to skid the surface on that real quick. But I'll throw it back to you, Sam.
Yeah, man, definitely good stuff, man. And I'm sure we're gonna tackle Madden, because we got Madden on the docket as a couple topics, as it always is. So without further ado, man, let's check on AZ, man. AZ, what's going on out there, man? How was your week?
It was good, man. As some of you all know and might not know, I don't think I even put it out on Twitter, but my wife gave birth to my third son last week. So it's a crazy week, but it's been a blessing. And we home and 3 boys. I told my wife now we outnumbered, so we gotta keep strong attack. I appreciate that. But yeah, man, so that's what kind of week it's been. Just getting adjusted to having a newborn again. We I know I got a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and now a newborn. But this is the end of the line for your boy. I ain't gonna make it to that basketball team. We're gonna have to count on Sim and Smitty to pump out the rest of the team when it comes to that. So your boy AZ is done, 3 and done. But everything else is good, man. As far as Titans goes, I'll be quick on the Titans. There was a article put out by some dude. I mean, nowadays, people just say what they want and run with it. But there was a rumor out there that Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator, has his eyes, and Smitty's team was involved in this too, on Lions and Titans as head coaching spots for 2018. So not this year, but 2 years from now in the league. And, everybody up here was in arms about it. And they like the direction that Malarkey is going. And I think the only reason they said that is because of our GM has ties to the Patriots organization. But to me, if they were going to hire McDaniels, they should have done that last year before hiring Malarkey. And I know the Patriots went on a deep run, and they already, you kind of want to nail down your coaching staff before the draft. and all that kind of stuff. So you have a philosophy in place, and you know, things are in order as you move forward. But the team, going from 2 wins to 9-7 is a huge accomplishment. So, and we were the last team to beat the Packers. Just a little tidbit right there. So, I think the team is set up for success in the future. We definitely have a running game. Mariota will be healthy by season. And we have 2 first-round picks. And thanks to the Rams' ineptness, we have pick number 5, which our GM might flip again. Or he might take someone at that spot and then flip 18 because we have pick number 5 and pick number 18. So it'll be interesting to see what we do. But I don't know if I've said it. I know I told Sim I'm rooting for the Steelers, not only because, that's our boys' team, but, it's an AFC Central type thing. And I like the way that they play football, like Smitty mentioned earlier. They got the top back, one of the top backs in the league, dynamic, elite wide receiver, and a veteran quarterback. Their defense might let you down sometimes, as you saw all season. Sim been talking about being stressed by his defense, and that's not usually the norm. Back in the Steelers days, the defense was going to create turnovers, and back when they had Troy Polamalu and make plays all over the field. But it's different now. Now they rely more on their offense, and I just like the way the Steelers play football. It's reminiscent of a tough team, and that's how I like for my team to be. So I'm rooting for them. I knew Dallas was going to lose. I think I told maybe Sim or Smitty. I might have said it before. I was like, they're going to lose at the wrong time. You had this great regular season. You got to bye, and then and that's it's not even Zeke and Dak's fault. The defense let them down with that 36-yard completion. That was just money. I mean, is there a hotter person in football right now than Aaron Rodgers? That pass and that catch was just, an inch to the left, and he's out of bounds. So, for them to get that pass and then set up for a field goal and for Mason Crosby to nail it is just, one of those things that just breaks your heart as a Cowboys fan. But you had that great regular season, then you won and done in the playoffs. So, but
what a shame.
They upswing, their future is bright, obviously. But I think Atlanta, who has a high-powered offense, and Green Bay should be a good show. I don't really care about the NFC and who comes out of there. As I said, I'm rooting for the Steelers over the Patriots because I don't want to hear this old story about Tom Brady was suspended 4 games and still comes out, wins the Super Bowl, take that Goodell, blah, blah, blah. Even though I don't have any, ill will or good fortune for Goodell, I just don't want to hear that narrative about Tom Brady and yada, yada, yada that we will hear if they happen to win. So I just think that, the Steelers are a team that can beat the Patriots. I'm looking forward to watching, this weekend's games and the Super Bowl because I think out of the 4 teams left, all of them have great quarterbacks who can play at a very high level. And I like watching high quarterback, veteran quarterback and high-level IQ play calling and the players that are left on the teams should be good to watch, man. So we'll see, what happens, but I'm rooting for Steelers, and I guess if I had to pick between the Packers and the Falcons, I'm going to pick the Packers just because A-Rod is hot, and if they happen to go into the Super Bowl and win it, I can say that my team was the last team that beat them, and I can find some little silver lining in that.
Sure did.
That we stuck it to them pretty good. And the Titans are the only team to beat 5 of the teams that were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
y'all got the Chiefs too, right?
Yeah, we beat the Chiefs, even though, it was a frozen tundra situation and we got a lucky field goal, a mulligan. But we beat the Chiefs, the Packers, the Broncos, even though they didn't go to playoffs. But, teams that people didn't think we were going to beat, we ended up with a 9-7 record. So I'm excited about the future, and hopefully we can get a wide receiver in the draft, because honestly, we just need a speed burner that'll open up the top defense. Because when that safety that's going to open up lanes for Murray and Henry even more. So, hopefully we can get that, or at least a bona fide number one wide receiver, because I think some of that stuff will be addressed in free agency. And we also need corners, man. At no time should Valentino Blake, as Sim knows him, Antoine Blake,
Lord have mercy,
be your starting cornerback. He was going to come on, man, probably 4 times, pointing the wrong way. The turnover happens. But, he's a special teams guy. I'll give him that. He went out there and balled in the Denver game, but you don't want to count on him for a whole season. So I'd like to get, a young cornerback that is Marcus Peters-esque. He can come in and play right away, because I'm not sure what they're going to do with McCourty. McCourty is owed $7 million this year. And, yeah, I know. And he's getting a little old. Although I love to see, us hang on to the players that help build the team. It's a business at the end of the day. And, if we can spend that money elsewhere and get better and upgrade, then that's what they're going to do. It'd be unfortunate, but, that's the nature of the business. The nature, man. I have faith in John Robinson. All of his draft picks produced. Derrick Henry, Jack Conklin, only gave up 2 sacks this year. All pro as a rookie. Kevin died. He was hurt, so he didn't really produce. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he has next year. He was on that Clemson team that lost to Alabama the previous year. And Tajay Sharp, who came in and played solid as a number 2 option opposite Rashard Matthews. So we'll see. But excited for the future, man. And, football season is all year round. We got a draft tonight in Sim Standard Radio League, and we're going to keep going all the way probably until about June. Football is always nonstop with us, man. So glad to enjoy our little slice of football heaven, man.
Absolutely, man. And I'll be real quick, man. I don't think I need to spend a lot of time with assessing the Steelers game. I mean, y'all know I did that on Tuesday. I'll just say this. They're going to need their A, B, and C game to beat the Patriots. I agree with Azure. I've been saying this. It's not a biased thing. Y'all know I watch football. It's the same reason why I said Aaron Rodgers was going to beat the Cowboys. Reason why I said that is because Pittsburgh scored 30 points on them. Pittsburgh's defense wasn't that good. They scored 35. But it's been numerous times where Dallas got scored on, and I was like, man, Aaron Rodgers, as hot as he is, I don't think Dallas will be able to contain him, and I didn't think Dallas would score as much points. Now, for the Cowboy fans, I will say this. Y'all got a lot to look forward to. They impressed me in that game. Being down 21-3, they could have folded. They came back, and it came down to a heroic play by Aaron Rodgers for them to even get out of it. But looking at all of that, just using that as an example, I watched the game, man. I'm not a biased person just because I love the Steelers. Who's been the one saying all year, man, we ain't that good? And they have surprised me. They have won 9 straight games. It's crazy. But here's the thing. That defense is still not as good as it seems. Smitty hit it right on the head. We've been getting pressure. Pressure has helped. Sean Davis is playing very well. Artie Burns is playing decent. He has some rookie moments. He has some decent moments. But they're not a great defense yet, particularly middle of the field. You look in that game against the Chiefs, right? We gave up a 3rd and 20. Steelers have been doing that quite often. When we played the Cleveland Browns for the first time, we gave up like 4 fourth down conversions. So they scare me in that regard. You can't have no mistakes against the Patriots. The Patriots are going to ball. Do I think we can beat them? I actually do. With that offense. If Le'Veon Bell is able to run, and then they commit maybe 8 to the box and leave AB by himself, even though I do respect Malcolm Butler as a pretty top, he's a pretty nice corner in my opinion. Some people saying the dude is trash. I'm like, okay, you need to reevaluate. He's solid. He can't hold AB all game. But then we got numerous other weapons that they try to take the run away. I just think Pittsburgh is built to compete with New England. I don't think New England, their defense is that good right now. They're okay, even though it sounds like an oxymoron, right, by me saying that, being that they're the number one defense in terms of points. But again, when you got a explosive offense, sometimes those stats go out the window. So I think they can win. Will they win? I don't know. Can't be mad if they lose to a team like the Patriots, but I do think if they're on their A game, I think the Steelers could pull it off. So we'll see. In the Chiefs game, man, the only thing I'll take from that real quick, they just got to score in the red zone. That between the 20s ain't going to work against Tom Brady and the Patriots at Foxborough. That ain't going to work. The Steelers need to have a game like I reflect back a couple years and apologize to the Ravens fans, but it just comes to my mind. They need to have a game like they had against the Ravens a couple years ago where Ben threw 6 touchdowns. That's the kind of game they're going to need to have, or at least something similar to that, Ben throwing for 300 yards, 3 or 4 touchdowns, something like that to beat these Patriots, because they're going to be ready. But we'll see. Anything is possible. But outside of that, man, I'm just happy to be watching football still, guys. We only got technically 2 more weeks of football, which sucks. And then after that, y'all know we just pulling that hair out, waiting for the off season. But, it's great to see the team get this far. At this point, man, whatever else we get is a plus. I'm not going to be overly crazy about it like I usually am during the week because, I never expected that they would be playing in the AFC Championship this year. 3 starters on the defense are rookies. I never would have imagined it. So anything else we get from here is a bonus. If we get to the Super Bowl, I'll say this, and then I'll end with the Steelers. If they beat the Patriots, because remember I said this last week, if they go to the Kansas City and beat Kansas City, I think they got a very good chance to go to New England. They didn't put up the performance I thought they would, but I thought that was a little tougher than, and it might sound crazy, but I felt like that would be a tougher task than going to New England. If they beat New England, I think they'll win the Super Bowl. I don't think Green Bay nor Atlanta's defense can stop Pittsburgh's offense if they roll it. As far as the Packers and the Falcons, I'm going to say the Falcons. I love Aaron Rodgers, but let's not forget, even though I picked them last week, we all saw what it took to beat Dallas, right? The Atlanta Falcons, you could kind of say, are playing somewhat like Pittsburgh and the Packers in this regard. Offense is explosive. Defense is doing just enough. I think Atlanta's defense might do a little bit better than Dallas. And if you're just looking at how they played Dallas, Matty Ice and the boys could probably put up some points. I think it favors the Falcons at home. But I don't think the Falcons nor the Packers would beat a red-hot Steelers team. I don't think so. Not with that offense. And if our defense showed up a little bit, I don't think it happens. So if we get past New England, I think we might be able to win the Super Bowl, which would be the craziest thing to fathom because I did not ever think that they would get this far. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and move on, man, to the next topic at hand. I'll go ahead and read them to you guys, man. Like y'all always do. Y'all want to talk about Madden. So these are mainly the topics that you guys wanted to discuss. Let me say this first before I read them. A couple guys were asking about NBA Live. I'm not going to go into that. Prime reason why is because I'm just not going to do any type of speculatory stuff. Y'all know we have a relationship with EA. We'll leave it at that. So I don't even want to talk about what could be and what, Stand away from that stuff, man, until things are able to be talked about. So we're not going to cover anything in regards to what do you think about the rumors about NBA Live. But here it is, guys. First up, well, no particular order, but we want to talk about the Ignite engine and the promises that it had. And actually, we will start with that. So we want to talk about the promises that the Ignite engine gave what did happen, what didn't happen since Ignite was introduced in terms of Madden. If Madden were to go to Frostbite, do you think when that happens, will that reduce the dev cycle? That was definitely a good question and topic one of you guys provided. So basically what they're saying is they want to know, do we feel like it will hinder the dev cycle, whenever that time comes? Will that actually affect the dev cycle? You know, sort of like when they went over to the PS4s and all of that, you know, one of those situations. So we'll give our thoughts on that. Also, another one of you guys, man, you wanted to talk about Madden having an in-depth, like RPG mode, like a superstar mode in Madden, you know, a realistic type of mode. I'm guessing they're talking more like NBA 2K's My Player. We'll give our thoughts on that and what we think it should look like. And also, this is the only name I remember, and I apologize for the other guys that I don't remember who sent it, but you guys know who you are. But I remember Dez sent this one. What non-sports games are you looking forward to in 2017? You know, what are your most anticipated games in 2017, non-sports related? Then the last thing here is the importance of the devs making a huge leap in programming in Madden 18. I also remember that was Zulu's topic. So I'm sure what he's asking is what do we think? Does 18 need to make a huge step in programming? Understand what he's saying. He's talking about programming, and I'm assuming he's referring to like AI and, you know, fundamental aspects of how the game is performing. And of course, Zulu, you could probably tell me in the chat if that's what you're saying, and we'll hit on that. Smitty, I'll throw it to you first. And I wanted to say something real quick, Smitty and AZ, before we do the topics. I meant to cover this earlier. Mm-hmm. I do not think that video by AB or Edelman's response, I don't think this has any effect on the game. I don't. I play sports, stuff like that. If we let any trash talk or whatever the case may be, it crept in your mind for a second. But you know what it did to me? It was like, oh, I'm ready to play. That was it. It didn't affect my performance. So I think the media is tripping too much on that. The Patriots are not going to win because of that video. The Steelers are not going to win because of Edelman's response. No, ain't going to have nothing to do with it. I think that's just normal banter and normal, you know, guys being a little more hype when they come into the game, jumping around. It's nothing, and Dez would know this, it's nothing more than what happens in a Steelers-Ravens week. That's it. That's all it is. And in terms of Tomlin, I did want to say this real quick. I have no problems with what that man said. We got a peek behind the curtain. He was addressing his team, and it is what it is. You know, people saying, oh, he's calling them this, he's calling them that. Y'all know that was casually stated. It wasn't like he was straight up saying, I can't stand them. No. He was using those terms in a slang type format, motivating the team. I have a bigger problem with Antonio Brown not being in that huddle. I have a huge problem with that. But I just want to say that real quick, guys. But Smitty, what do you think, man, with the Ignite engine? What things have we seen that was promised? And we're going to go back to, what year was that? Circa 2013, maybe. I know it was Madden 25. So what things that were promised by Ignite have we seen, and what things have we not seen?
Well, excuse me. I'm waiting to see the human intelligence. So I haven't seen that yet. The 60 calculations per second. You know, that was talked about. Let's see. I definitely would say that that you definitely do see Ignite as far as the crowds and stuff like that. I see it, but I'm not necessarily blown away by that crowd presentation at this point, because it all mainly came from, you know, oh man, now I'm drawing a big old blank. It just dropped out of my mind. But the main things about the Ignite was, you hear the crowd swells and things like that, like in the FIFA trailer when we heard it. You know, we talked about that back then on Blog Talk. But it's like it's there. We hear it. Like the crowd's even standing up and stuff like that in Madden, like how it is this year. It's cool, but it's not, you know, revolutionary. Like it doesn't feel like every game I play doesn't feel like as genuine as FIFA. You know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me. If I cut on my sound system and I play FIFA, I got to keep the volume down because that sucker will blare. Like you're in the building. You know what I'm saying? Even NHL, it feels the same way. Those two games, yeah. Not really so much with Madden, somewhat with Live, but not so much between those two. And those are the games that should have that crowd noise. It should be on that level. But then when we talk about, you know, player movement and the player model makeup and all that, like all these things that were talked about, those aspects of Ignite still haven't came to fruition yet to me. I haven't seen it at all, you know, to really stand behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then of course we talk because we all remember when they had the Madden 25 trailer and you heard Clint talk about those calculations and how it's going to translate to how your O-line blocks as a unit and everything. And look where the O-line play is at right now. I'm not saying it's terrible, but, you know, it can be a lot better than where it's at. And then that makes you still think, well, wait a minute. What about this engine? Where's the calculations? You know what I mean? No one said it was going to be, and this is the main thing, no one said that it was going to be a progressive buildup. You know, it was promoted like straight up, this is what's going to be in the game. This is what you're going to see in the game. And really, I didn't see it yet. Still waiting on it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's primarily what I have to say on it. So, I mean, I can throw it back to you, Sim. I really don't have a ton to say on it. So, like, I mean, those are really my main issues with it. And, oh, wait a minute. I will say this. We talked about player movement and all that, and I know that was one of the things that they talked about within Ignite. Now, you got Rex and them up in Canada doing recording sessions right now for, I would assume it's for Madden 18, because they're capturing animations and such. See, stuff like that, I need them, like I was saying, and other people, like we were sitting up here talking about player movement, respective player movement and all that. I said they need to be attached to the field. The player movement needs to be addressed, but they got to be attached to the field. You know what I mean? Not just sliding and gliding across the field, and then sometimes the, you know, player's footwork comes into play. Like, no. Like, to me, I feel that True Step, it's as if True Step failed here. Like, they put it in one game, but then it's like they gradually just took it out. I mean, that's something that would be extremely huge when you're talking about user controlling a linebacker, and then you got the player movement a lot more true. That linebacker, you're not going to be able to take him and just move sideline to sideline and be that coverage threat. You see what I'm saying? Because the footwork, the pivoting, all that good stuff, that's all being directly accounted for one-to-one off of the controller input or how the defenders move or whatever, or if you're on offense. So there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of stuff left on the table to be desired in regards to Ignite. So, I'll throw it to you though, Sim.
Yeah, man, good stuff, man. I'm sure a lot of us gonna have pretty much some of the same things. AZ, man, what are your thoughts on it? What were the hits or misses, and or both, or none?
Smitty pretty much touched on what I was really going to touch on with the player movement, but I just don't think that they used the full potential, or they tried and it didn't work. Because honestly, I think a lot of stuff that they tried was great. Inaccurate passes, D-line, offensive line, that stuff being reworked. But as we've seen, and it happened with Madden 17, that something was put in there. It was felt to be great, and it got scaled back. Because I'll tell you what's funny. I was talking with a guy who was from London, and obviously he primarily plays FIFA. And he was saying that he couldn't get into Madden because it was too hard. And I think these are the people that they be trying to go out. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we want to get the FIFA in that. It's accessible. And by doing that, I think that's how they, get what we call watering down or nerfing the game to players who are non-conventional, or I don't know what they would call them, whatever term that they have for them. They're trying to reach new users and retain users as well. And to me, that we talked about that with them having to serve in too many masters. So to me, no matter what they put in there, if they don't have a clear vision of, okay, do this, then they're going to continue to take steps forward and then at the same time take steps backward. So I don't know. I still want to see player movement, the passing game, the living worlds. I mean, Smitty talked about the crowd, but the sidelines. So, I mean, they build it up like it was going to be like All Pro Football 2K8. And we never saw it. We got players standing on the sideline who have no names on the back of their jersey when it's clearly, my quarterback or my starting quarterback. And he's just standing next to the coach, and he doesn't really have his correct face or, stuff like that. It's little stuff. The details that we thought we were going to get, we just really – and I don't know, man. To me, I stick by that if no matter what they do, if they keep trying to string along people and pacify the masses, then it's not going to matter what engine's in the game. Because all they're going to do is give you a great version of it and then dial it back. So, I mean, I'll pass it to you, Sim, and give your thoughts on it. But, I think they did some great stuff. They just took away from themselves and trying to do other stuff as well. So,
yeah, man, I think that's an interesting topic, and I'll hit on that slightly. But before I do that, I'll give my quick hits and misses. I think there's some minor hits. I'll say them first, and then I'll go into the misses. Most of them are what you guys said, so I don't have to repeat it. I could take a slightly different direction on my misses. But some of the hits were, even though they didn't come in the way we wanted them to, you start seeing a little bit like Smitty and I and Azure. We know that the true step thing pretty much came from FIFA. Little stuff like the signs in the crowd, that's NHL. Other than that, I don't know what else jumps out at me. I don't know what other stuff under the hood was a benefit of Ignite. I want to say I heard one time, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, one time when we were there, I want to say visuals, something with art may have came from somewhere, but I'm not 100% sure. But that's really the only thing I can lean on as far as semi-positives, because everything else, man, I mean, Living Worlds, when I think of Living Worlds, the first thing I think about, of course, also is the sideline. But then I'm thinking more interaction, period, on the field. And to me, that made me think the field is living as well. The way they move on the field and the grass and environment, weather. I'm thinking all of that is a part of Living Worlds. Dynamic crowds, meaning sound, and when you're in Seattle, when you're at Heinz Field and that open end on the field, everybody knows that's a hard place to kick. You know, when you're in Arrowhead, things like that. That's what I was thinking. The trailer that we all saw, it was 2 trailers, if y'all remember. The one with RG3, when he's looking around and he's got the shield, and then he's looking, surveying the defense. Where's that? To me, that's all Living Worlds, because that's atmosphere. How, you know, and it's gameplay, but it's also atmosphere because they, you know, highlighted the crowd behind them and all of that. We don't have that. But the biggest thing would have to be one of the things, well, the 2 things that I said were hits were also misses. The shared technology. That was the biggest thing that was emphasized. Shared technology. We haven't seen it. I mean, like I said, we've seen little itty bits and pieces of it. Y'all hear that extra S I put in? I said pieces. What is wrong with me? Extra pieces. We've seen little bitty pieces of it, but it just didn't ever come to fruition, man. I think I'm going to give my quick thoughts, guys, on this real quick. I could be wrong, but I've seen some other people say this, and I was like, okay, we kind of on the same wavelength. I kind of feel like I get the impression from EA, not talking about Rex and the guys, but EA as a whole. If you listen to Patrick Soderlund and what he was saying about their focus now is, you know, they're going to go in this direction, and the idea is to get all of their products on the same code line, and he's basically talking about Frostbite or what have you. Now, everything he said in the articles and at the conference was what we heard about Ignite. It makes me think that somewhere either something went wrong with Ignite or Ignite wasn't quite powerful enough to do it. And it makes me think whatever they do next, which we all assume all of EA's games are going to be on Frostbite at whatever point, that makes me feel like maybe that's the engine that will allow them to do that. So another huge miss by them is the fact that if that's the case, if Ignite couldn't do it, it was a miss because you marketed that. You specifically marketed that in Madden. I remember, we all remember Andrew Wilson up there at E3 and he's telling us about all this stuff. No, it never happened. So you have no choice but to accept the fact that your consumers are looking at it like, wow, did they lie to us? I mean, whether they outright lied or not, nobody ever knows, because we know this. The 3 of us know there's stuff that, or not even with Madden, just think of any job. You set goals, right? And you set things and you set expectations, and then sometimes it just doesn't happen. And then you kind of like, dang. But in a case like EA or any company that's in the big lights, like even Apple, Apple thought they was going to have so much success with the iPhone 7. Come to find out, their sales have dropped a little bit. And then when it's in the public eye, people looking at you like, oh, you lied. You see what I'm saying? So I won't go that far to say that they lied. Because, listen, we have relationships with the devs. Outside of that, I don't know what these other people do. But I can tell you that the devs are never trying to deceive anybody. You know, if you think I'm making that up, this is a perfect segue. If you haven't already, guys, you know, I always like y'all to hear stuff from Rex and Clint when it ain't coming from us, because sometimes people think we're just biased. Check out the interview that PX1, you know, Mike Peters just did with Rex. It's on his page. I should be able to post a link here in a moment.
Oh, yeah.
Rex delivers the same message all the time. And he's very candid. He actually, if you listen to what he's saying, he says a lot of things that I'm sure people in other departments probably like, man, why did you say that? You see what I'm saying? So you get the sense of what type of person he is, but they are challenged of being in a position where we're going to criticize it one way or another. It's either going to be us or it's going to be another community or what have you. But I'm just saying, man, that to me, it just came off bad because it looks like nothing, really nothing that was advertised for Ignite happened by now. It should be there by now. We're like 4 games later. So brings me to the next point, Smitty. We might as well keep this going in relation to the engines and all of that. And this is something that we said before. Do you think when and if or whatever, let's say Madden does get the opportunity to move over to a Frostbite engine or whatever engine, do you think when that transition happens, is there going to be any negative effect, like as far as this cycle? You know, could it be a situation where getting over to another engine is a massive task, takes away from other things? Do you think that could happen? Or I do recall one time, I want to say it was Rex or Clint. I want to say last year, of course, they said they're definitely not ready to comment on any engine stuff, but they said that, I want to say they said whenever they're ready to do something like that, it would be a smooth transition. So my question is, do you think that will be the case? Does anything concern you about that? Let's just say if Madden is actually going to move that direction, what are the concerns? Do you think it's going to, that year's game could be kind of, we're just getting over, or, you know, will we not even see like a chink in the armor, so to speak, or hiccup?
I think that basically, you know, I think that the development time is going to be the same, because think about all the things that we talk about that we want the game to have. I mean, there's so many things that we want from a base level, even on an intricate level, that even if the Frostbite tech made it, you know, a lot simpler to pull all these things off, it's still going to take them time to truly get everything in. So they're going to have those full dev cycles. It's still going to happen. You know, that's my belief at least. But I just don't think that, you know, it's going to have the giant impact of it out the gate, because, you know, you got to, and I mean, of course, we're talking about once the game's already over. Because, you know, that's the whole thing in itself. Once the games are over, then at what point is the technology sharing on a big level going to, you know, going to truly work in terms of just cross product effectiveness? Because you look at games right now, like UFC used the face scan technology or the player model tech from NHL, and I think NHL borrowed from UFC. Yeah, that's right. They borrowed from UFC in that regard. You know what I mean? Like, these guys do a little bit of borrowing here and there, but nothing really huge. So that's why I'm really curious. Like, when it gets really big, and they talking about, you know, FIFA did this, very next year, this is what Madden is going to have. And, like, I think it's going to take them a good while to get it there, because Madden still has a lot of stuff. Just in general, Madden's got a lot of stuff to get right in their system that they currently have before getting to that point. And I mean, that's, you know, shout out to that interview, you know, PX1, shout out to that big time interview he did with Rex, because that was extremely insightful. Tons of information in there that he gave, talking about both this current gen technology as well as last gen too. How, you know, well, I should say what gen, that'll be generation 2 or what have you. But nevertheless, great interviews. Definitely check it out. Great interview. Definitely to check out. But no, that's pretty much all I got on it, man. I'll throw it to AZ.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Frostbite is a pipe dream to me. Just because it's to me, it's just like you said, it's gonna be kind of like starting the process all over again. I would wait to see in the first year to see what we actually receive, or, you know, that's implemented. But it's so much, you know, not even talking about the core issues of the game. It's just like I'm playing the game here right now, and granted that it is mud, but like Smitty said, man, you can control like, gosh, man, this dude. Never mind. You can control so much with a linebacker. You can go like from probably 40 yards sideways with a middle linebacker. And I understand that linebackers in the league are good and they can cover an amount of ground. But I guess it goes back to the passing game, man. There's no defense for a perfect pass. And the fastest thing on the ball is the field. I mean, the fastest thing on the field is the ball. I'm tripping. Well, I can throw a pass faster than somebody can run. So when they do these old warping animations and, make stuff match just to make it fit, I want to see that kind of stuff gone, man. Like, to me, FIFA, NHL set the bar in sports games from EA. So for them, oh my gosh, I just threw another pick of. Hey, did y'all see the Packers game? I know this is kind of get off topic, where Aaron Rodgers handed him the ball, and the ball just kind of like went into Ty Montgomery's hands.
Yeah, that was crazy. He wasn't even looking at it.
It's a real life Madden glitch. So, I mean, stuff like that happens, but to me, it happens too often in Madden, though. But I don't know. It's just, to me, it's so much you have to clean up, and that they're still cleaning up in this game, that we might be in for another 5 years, man. Like, this dude has picked me off just by running around holding Y. And you can tell that it's nothing but ball hawk. It's not that he's in perfect position. He just run around holding triangle or holding Y. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is the stuff that I want to see go, or fold it into casual play. You can say, oh, you can take that stuff off. But the way people play online, and the online settings, they have it set for that. So, I mean, if you're gonna do that, give me a playground like Call of Duty does, where it's hardcore and the bullets mean more. Y'all remember that? I don't know if I still do. I ain't played Call of Duty in so long, but if it's like that, then I want a hardcore Madden mode where all these helpers that people use can't be on. Then we can battle and see and play.
No, but I agree with you. I mean, you already know Sim agrees with that, but the problem is that you got people in this exact community that got a problem with that. Being it that authentic.
With it being authentic?
Yeah. They cool,
I always knew that people, like I said, when I came back from the first community day and I saw the direction they were going in, that people in the sim community would whine about it. They would like it, but at the same time, I told it would separate who actually wanted a sim game from people who were actually just really nitpicking. So, it still, to me, holds true to that. And that you see some people are just nitpicking the game. To whereas others, like ourselves, Kia,
you see that a lot.
5-7, still, see areas where it can improve. But we realize how far it's come. Because to me, the fact that I'm still have this is a testament. Like, if it wasn't for the leagues, I don't know if I would be playing Madden. Like, it wouldn't be my game of choice. I don't know if I'd be playing much at all, honestly, but the competition and the league that we play in keeps me going. Otherwise, I couldn't play with these bums who just take advantage of the system and play video games over playing football. Couldn't do it. It would be frustrating. I'd probably have gray hair. I'd look like Obama from instead of 8 years, it would be 2 weeks of playing this game. So, it's a lot that they got to fix. But money always talks. That's why I still want to see a company, even though this is probably not going to happen. I don't care if it's EA. I want to see somebody branch off and say, all right, we're going to do another football game and have a different philosophy on it. Because honestly, they can preach sim all they want, but the stuff that they do doesn't say, oh, okay, well, we're going to take this thing to the next level. Because the way people play it online, and that's half of it, is the way people play the game. But the way it's allowed to be played online, and that goes from any game, 2K2 says otherwise. That speaks volumes on really what you want to do with the game. Mm-hmm. Is how people play it and how they're allowed to play it. Because, I mean, we talk about this all the time. They need that AI system. You know what I mean? Because true enough, I can make all the adjustments I want. But if a player is still not recognizing that, there's nothing I can do about it. And I can't play, 10 other positions. I can only control one player at a time. So
right.
The other people playing defense need to be able to think for themselves, say, okay, well, this man's not coming out the backfield. Let me change my assignment and drop into this flat right here, or, do this. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. We'll see, where they go with it. But AI, I don't know. Frostbite is a pipe dream because, like Smitty said, it's going to take some time. And we just came off of taking some time. Can we fast forward for once and be like, oh,
that's the thing, man. People,
we thought it was going to take 5 years, but we're going to be able to get this done in 2 years. Can we hit the fast forward button?
But see, something, no, AZ. that goes back to like what you said back when you first came back from the studio. It's the same thing that we said when we first came back from the studio. We were saying, like, the devs hear you. They understand what's going on. We get the frustration, but the bottom line is that it's going to take time. We couldn't tell anybody how long it is because I know people always say, but how long does that mean? I'm like, I don't know, but the bottom line is for these dudes to get it there, it's going to take time. My only hope is that along the way, they make some legitimate progress. Along, while they on that route, and they have. I'd be lying to sit up here and say, "Oh, they haven't done nothing." Like, no, can't agree with that.
Yeah, I ain't even hearing that.
So they're doing some things, but there's still a lot more left to be desired. You know what I mean? In spite of that, excuse me. So
it just seems like being strung along. It's like, that perfect girl that you just waiting on. Oh man, she's gonna be a wife one day. Give it 2 more years, she'll be good. No man, she's not coming around. You just got to let that go. She is who she is, and she's been that way for years, and she kept stringing you along. Cut that loose. So I mean that's what it feels like, man. And give me some time. Like, hey man, somebody owes you money. Hey man, it's been 2 weeks. You got my money? No man, but you know what? I'm about to sell this Zika juice. When I get that, man, I'm gonna give you your money times 10. Okay, all right. 3 months later. Hey man, you got my money? No man, but you know what? My order just came in, and I'm waiting on some boxes. And when I do that, I'm gonna hit you back. Then you see the person 4 or 5 years later. Man, I ran into some hard times, but you know what? I got you. No, dog. You can say you're going to pay me for a long time. I want payment on this football game. I don't want it 10, 15 years from now when I got arthritis in my hands and then my son is whooping up on me on the game. I want this game to be right in the next 2 to 3 years. Forget all that 5-year plans. I need you to go fast forward for once. And be like, you know what? We got this tech in early. We brought in some people who knew exactly what to do with it, and we've translated over into a Madden sense, and it's going swimmingly. We 2 years ahead of schedule. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear this. It's an aircraft It's trying to turn an airplane on a dime. No, man, it's tired. I'm tired of that. Bring in some people who want to do it, or I don't know, because true enough, we know the difficulty that it takes programming these games, and then you bring in people who don't know football, and they like trying to get it right, and they can't get it right because they don't really know the game. But at the same time, you gotta, I don't know, search each corner of the earth until you find your Justice League of developers. I'm telling you, man, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of waiting. Oh man, it's gonna be good. Oh man, it's gonna be good, man. We got this Xbox 360. It's gonna be great. Let down. Oh man, no, the original. Oh no, it was the 360 for the Madden 09. Madden 25 trailer. We understand that those were CGIs, but marketing can't be setting us up like that. You know what I mean? Like at some point, you gotta take it and be like, yo, we've seen this movie before. I ain't falling for it. And we need some show and prove. So I mean, I do think that we're making process, and I think that the right developers are in the building to get it done. But it's just like it's very painful to keep going back to it's gonna take time, and dev speak. So
it's funny though, man, because it's so much in this chat that I want to address, and I'm gonna try to as quickly as possible. But on the last topic, it's almost like that thing that your parents used to say, like sometimes more is less. Because so much has been done in time since Rexington was there now, and we all guilty of it. Now we're expecting way more than we ever would have expected, because we are all guilty of this. Everybody in here has said it, including us. And one time, people were super satisfied with Madden 17, right? Now, it's a lot of people saying, oh, the game sucks, right? Now, what that tells me, there was minor changes that affected some things, but we were not that far away from actually enjoying the game. So how much, I guess what I'm saying is, it's not a whole lot left. We all covered the things that need to be done. If they can find a way to get more natural player movement, interactions being more one-to-one instead of like two-man sequences, and allowing weight and mass to matter, that's your football game right there. Another thing is, people, even in this chat, people say, man, Madden 17 was the best football game to date. So how can you say that, but then you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. I think a lot has happened, and now we're expecting it to be faster than when it should be. And I'm guilty of it too. I just think that I've learned to acknowledge and accept how the process works. Like, even I wanted to talk about the deep zone thing. Sometimes we miss stuff. A-Dub and Rex both said that before the game launched.
Yep.
I had an interview with A-Dub, and he said we couldn't get the deeps. So some stuff that people say later, I'm like, they already addressed that. See what I'm saying? What else I wanted to talk about? Tackle battles. Some of you guys were talking about that. That was a casual feature. We need to start, and I think we are all, and listen, I'm including myself here, so I'm not insulting anybody. We are all smart enough, I think, all of us in this community, to know what's a casual feature, what's a sim feature. The casual people, I'm sure, didn't ask for all this type of zone play and all that stuff. They didn't ask for that. They didn't. The tackle battles, not saying they asked for, but that's one of them marketing things to throw in there. Now, it's just my opinion. We all have them. Brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about from chat. We have to stop acting like our opinion is a fact. Some of you guys have real problems with that. It's not a fact just because I've seen somebody in here saying that, oh, this and that and that those are all marketing things. Who said? How do you know that? Which we actually know the truth about some of these things. That's what's funny. I'm not saying you're supposed to bow down to us, but I tell y'all every week, if there's anything that you want to hang on, you might want to listen to what we have to say. And I'll include some other guys in that. Guys like PX1, guys like NY Kid that I know, and I don't mean to be telling their business. I know they don't care, but I know that they talk with the devs extensively, and they get to learn a little more information than some of you guys may not. You might want to listen to guys like that and guys like us, because we're telling you the facts, as well as Rex, as he candidly opens himself up in interviews. But I'm just saying, man, I'm sick and tired of it right there with AZ as well. It's like, it sucks just keep waiting and waiting and waiting. But when I really dissect it, what's one of the games that people say is one of the best simulations ever? NBA 2K. We can have the same argument. The same year, every year it's the same stuff. It's just like Madden. So I guess what I'm saying, it's hard to accept, but I'm thinking some things just can't be done yet. And here's my list, guys. Ball tangibility must be a thing that ain't nobody can nail. Like FIFA seems to be the best, but I'm here to tell you. Some of you guys know my man Bateson. Bateson told me that FIFA has a ton of problems. We just don't know them because we're not soccer players. But stuff like ball physics, when I play it, looks legit. So FIFA might be one of the games that gets a little higher praise. But my point is, if you just take 2K and Madden, that ball tangibility is suspect at times, ball physics, body clipping, morphing, two-man sequences, shifting into place, body parts not meaning anything. You clearly there for a block and the ball just goes right. And what I'm saying is maybe for whatever reason, it's just something that they have not been able to mask. I don't know what it is. But I guess, guys, as I'm growing more mature as far as knowledge of how things work, I'm looking at it a little differently. That's why you don't hear me go off as much, because I think I'm starting to get a little more understanding. Like some stuff, I can complain until I'm blue in the face, man. It just ain't going. Also, let me say this, Smitty and AZ, y'all know this. There's things that have been tried in Madden that didn't work that y'all ain't never know about.
Yeah.
Remember when everybody was saying, man, True Step should be, we was the main ones. When the last time y'all heard me say True Step should be on every player? Think about that. You know why I don't say that no more? They tried it. Didn't work. Didn't work. They tried putting it on defense. Didn't work. So I guess what I'm saying is, man, before I'm ready to just dive on devs and engineers, I don't know that job. I don't know how hard it is, but we do get to see a little bit of that because we're behind the curtain. And I've seen and been in discussions where they're like, man, this didn't work. And I'm not going to give y'all all of the reasons why certain things didn't work, because that's some stuff that's still, information that we need to keep between us and them, because I'm sure they're working on these things. But just certain things didn't line up. The defensive assignments, it doesn't work currently with their AI system. And my thing is, we have to also get away, and I'm going to keep delivering this message because, again, I want us to be a powerful, constructive community where they could take heat from us, but they know it's coming from a good place. So defensive assignments, right? You've even heard Rex say it in interviews, man. We're trying to get it. They've been trying to do it. It just hasn't worked. It doesn't currently work with the current AI system. I saw Hollywood Sports mention something here in the chat, which is absolutely correct. Another thing Rex has said is so much old stuff that they have to take out of the game and rebuild is not as easy as we think. And Smitty, myself, and Azure used to be guilty of this. When we first started going down there, we used to say, wait a minute, man, y'all used to have that. Why y'all don't have it no more? It ain't that simple. Things have changed since things were in this game or in Madden 05. The architecture ain't the same. It don't work the same no more. So they can't just, because me, Smitty, you remember, I was like, man, ain't no reason why y'all ain't got NCAA stuff in here. And he's like, oh, yeah, it is.
Right.
It's a big reason. At the same time, though, I share the frustration Azure has. I'm like, man, look, I get it too, but can we do something to get this a little faster? But we all got to be honest and ask ourselves, what are those things? For me, my list is kind of short. I mentioned them a little while ago. I'll say it again, and we'll go to the next topic. Find a way to make players' mask, weight, and all of that be the main factor in determining outcomes, relative positioning. So that's basically body interaction dictating the outcome. Try to find a way to get the two-man sequences not to be drawn together and sticking you in this animation and there's no user control. Like, if we can find a way to get that done. And then after that, authentic player movement to as close as you can get it. Because like I said, even with FIFA, there's still a little bit of slide. It's a video game, but try to get it as close as possible and have the surface really matter. After that, that's all I need, because look at how much it opens the game when you deliver those things. So that's why I say, me personally, it's not a whole lot left. And if those are the things that opens up the game, it's like, trust me, they're waiting to get it. Not gonna say waiting, but they're gonna deliver it when they can get it the right way. Y'all remember what I said about the reach tackles? And we've been screaming about those. You ain't heard me say that in a while, because remember what I told y'all. Rex was like, oh, okay, well, because when we really get it in there, we want it to where you can pull the jersey and this guy's is his weight versus that guy's inertia versus gravity. All of that will determine the outcome. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't even thinking like that. But do you know how much work that is? That's hard. You heard A-Dub say in the interview, he gave y'all a little glimpse of where he's trying to go, where they got DBs playing different techniques. So your man Patrick Peterson line up in cover two gonna look different from how Richard Sherman plays his. And then how a guy like Artie Burns might play his. That's next level stuff. So that's all I'm saying, man, is they're introducing stuff to us all the time. It's just that I think it's a lot of legacy stuff that's bothering us. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. I don't know what it's going to take to fix the stuff, man. And so all we can do is keep pushing, man. And I just feel like, just show me progress at this point. The day that it doesn't progress, then I'm going to be upset, because y'all have, like I said, y'all have delivered us a lot. So now we sitting here like, we want more. We want more. So they're going to have to deliver it. But I agree with everybody else, man. It is taking a lot of time. Yes, I also, guys, I wanted to comment on this and then we'll move on. I could do without the tackle battles also. Definitely not, to me, that's not a sim feature. I think you could have found a better way to allow guys to break tackles like they normally do without that. That was clearly a casual feature. So that's all I would say to you guys, man. I know we say that a lot. We say the game is arcade, and people always say that, but I really look at the things that are put in Madden and point out what you really think was for the casuals and what was for sim guys. Oh, last thing before I forget. I saw one of you guys say that the zone logic is dumb. Again, we all have opinions, and I think NYK could probably back me up on this. The zone logic that's in Madden right now is using real world principles. So I need you to kind of elaborate on that. Maybe I'm missing what you said, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that to me is far from dumb, because short zones and all that are doing real world things. We all know they didn't get to the deep zones. We're expecting them to do it this year based on what they said last year. But you see what I'm saying? Sometimes everyone's experience dictates how they feel about a game. Like, I can't agree with someone saying that the zone logic in Madden 17 is dumb. I can't agree with that statement. But that's just my opinion. But let's move on, man. So the next topic here, what do we got? While we on Madden, what do you think, Smitty? I know we've been through this before, but Madden becoming or having an RPG type of mode, like very similar to My Player, excuse me, where you're really following the career. I would assume, based on the question I got, that he's not talking about like the journey. I haven't played the journey, but just from the little bit of time I've seen it, that's something I'm actually going to do as I'm thinking about that. But the journey, to me, the little bit I played didn't seem like My Player, where it's build, build, build. The journey seemed more like a real. I don't know. I could be imagining that, but I'm from his question on Twitter. I'm taking from what he said, like NBA 2K's My Player. How do you feel about Madden doing something like that? And I think I already know your answer. Where would they need to take the game in order for it to even be enjoyable? Yo, Smitty. Well, guys, it looks like Smitty is a little tired right now. AZ, take it from there.
Oh, man. I don't think they should do it. Just my personal opinion, because I mean, it's been done. The only cool thing that I think that they could bring to the table is that we haven't seen it done in Madden, like NBA 2K style. So I don't think they should do it. I mean, where does that put CFM? I mean, because they actually tried that. I mean, it's just not a storyline behind it. I mean, if you remember, I think it was Madden 25 had the legends where you could recreate their career, and they tried to add a little personal touch to it, but it just really didn't have the same bite, so to speak, as
AZ. Real quick, man. Take it away for about 2 minutes. Let me deal with this little guy for a second.
I got you.
All right.
But continuing on that talking point, I don't know. I think NBA 2K has done it so well that you're up against a high bar. I mean, of course you can say, oh, well, it's different because it's football and it wouldn't be compared to NBA 2K, but it really would. In all aspects, it would be seen as copying. And I just don't think that unless you're going to do it better than 2K did it, then there's no reason to, honestly, because if you can't do it better, then it's just, like I said, copying an idea. What it would be seen as copying an idea. And if you don't live up to the hype, it's a loss. And you would have done all that for what? Couple sales or to market a few more things. So I don't know. I can't really see them. I mean, even if they wanted to go that route, I mean, that's fine. They can do what they feel is appropriate for the game, but I just don't see it adding any real value unless it's done right. And to me, you'd have to go all in on trying to feature that storyline. And I haven't played FIFA's either, but the little small part that I did, I enjoyed it. I didn't really think it was like NBA 2K's either, as Sim was pointing out. I still think that it has some points that didn't feel as scripted. I don't know if script is the word, because we all know that NBA 2K, once it comes out, people hit the internet and spoil it for everybody. All the cut scenes and the decisions that you have to make, people make numerous videos about it and basically, ruin the surprise, so to speak. So you have those situations to where I don't know. It doesn't seem worth it. That's just my legitimate opinion on it. And like I said, it's just my opinion. It doesn't make it fact, and doesn't mean that it wouldn't happen in the near future. But to me, it's so many other things that you have to get right in gameplay first, so that you would want to fix in gameplay first before going down that route and making a huge commitment. Because like I said, if you do it and you don't do it on a grander scheme as 2K did theirs, then you just basically out here losing. And you would have put that time in for nothing just to say that you did it. So I don't know. But if that's the route that they're going with sports games, I can see Madden trying to do it. But to me, if you do it right. Because social media and just how things are played up today, it would get grilled if it wasn't done correctly. So, I don't know, man. I'll pass it to you, see what you think about it. And I might, once you say something.
Shoot, man. I feel the same way, bro. It's got to be done right. It can't just be thrown in. Like, honestly, I feel like CFM right now as a player was just thrown in. Think about it. There's nothing exciting about it. Now, I give credit to guys like QJB and other guys like that who had Air Jones who made it creative, and because they already have that type of channel, they could do something with it. But it's nowhere near as attractive as an NBA 2K's. It's like, to me, I felt like when they decided, again, I could be wrong, but it seemed like they decided to throw it in there, right? And they did do all of these. Basically, decided to do all of the, the throwing them all together and all of that, making them one particular unit. You go in one place and you play CFM and blah, blah, blah. But I think the player part of it was just thrown in there because they didn't do anything. So I feel the same way, man. If they can't take that approach and do it halfway, because you're too late in the game. I mean, if you're gonna do anything, I think maybe this is what I would do. I would do an interesting story like The Journey, something like that, and incorporate going through the NCAA, stuff like that, and take it away from being focused on like my player. Because that's going to be a little hard, I think. It's going to be a little different. Two different sports. I mean, you could pull it off. I mean, you could pull some stories off, like, think about all the crazy stories that was in like NFL Blitz. You could pull it off, but it's got to come correct. I don't think Madden has given themselves the leeway to allow it to come in halfway and we accept it. It's going to have to come strong from the jump. Because like you said, otherwise, why do it? And my second point would be, you already know, we all agree with this. Gameplay got to be right. Think about how much more important it is now to have things like positioning and all of that mattering. So imagine you playing as a DB. You know how frustrating it's going to be when you're getting warped into an animation? Can't have that. Or if you playing on the line, which I probably would do, because that would be an interesting type of series. And pass rush and all of that. And, you can't really get a real trench battle. It's not going to be that fun for long. So if it ain't top of the line, man, I say skip that. Work on it off site or whatever until you got it legit, then bring it if you're going to do it. Because there's, like Kia likes to always say, there's more, way bigger fish to fry. So just my quick opinion on that, man. So we can go ahead past this one. Let me check on Smitty. Nah, Smitty still ain't available, guys. Sometimes that happens. AZ would know with 3 kids now. Sometimes it happens, man. This is why we love doing live stuff. Hey, y'all see us in the flesh. Sometimes you can see us at our best. Sometimes you can see us make a few mistakes, but it is what it is, man. Let's move on to the next topic, guys. Let's see what we got here on the docket. Oh, here's a good one, AZ. Shout outs to Dez. I know he gave us this topic. Are there any non-sport titles, man, that you're looking forward to in 2017, like highly anticipated titles outside of, your Maddens and NBA 2K, anything that's non-sports related?
No, not really, actually. I don't even know what's coming out, honestly. I've reached the realm of old dude in that fashion that I don't know. But name something. I'll let you know if I'm looking forward to it.
Shoot, man. I don't know much either. I mean, there's a couple things that I'm looking forward to that probably it might be on the top of other people's lists. I'm looking forward to that Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm really looking forward to that. That looked like that could be interesting. The Division was cool. And I know they got some more DLC that's coming for that as well. I need to start playing that again because I've heard the game has gotten better. But we enjoyed that because
we did. If you get back into it, I'm definitely gonna jump back in because it just fizzled out,
I'm gonna jump back into it, man. Yeah. Shout outs to Millennium OS, man. He said he jumped back into it and it's fun. But I like Tom Clancy stuff, man, and that game is looking interesting because it's like you trying to take down a drug cartel and stuff. Like it's a different story. That looks good. I'm looking forward to that. Even though I haven't played this in the past, and I know some people are gonna crucify me for this, but I haven't played Mass Effect. So I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. People have been telling me, man, that's a game you must play. And what else we got, man? That's another one. What is it? Last of Us 2. Definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah, I heard the first one was good. I never got a chance to play it, but that's one of the ones that people, put up there in the classic. Shoot, I hadn't played the Uncharted that came out. So, I mean, it's a lot of stuff
that's a good one.
I haven't checked out that. I mean, I just don't have time anymore. You know what I mean? Between a league and having a family, it's just not enough time to like I had in college to where I could sit back and crack open some of those joints and just play them. So, I don't know, man. It's some stuff that, like I said, I had to check out on the back end. I've heard is good, but as far as new stuff, man, I want my football right. You know what I mean? I always want a game that will de-stress me away from Madden. And that used to be NBA 2K. It's not anymore. I ain't played 17 and I don't know how long, and it hasn't even affected me. I've been right okay with it. But yeah, I need something. It used to be Call of Duty and Madden. Those were my two things that, I had a shooter and I had a sports game where I'd be like, okay, I just lost the game in Madden. Let me fire up Call of Duty. And I don't have that now. I mean, I play NHL, which I love a lot, but I only play that offline. Because like I've mentioned before, the AI in that game gets me, especially on the hardest level. Like I'll be losing, look like a baseball score, 8-2 and stuff. So, but I don't know, man. I like Tom Clancy stuff back in the day, but I can't say that I played more recently.
Yeah, man, that Wildlands game is looking crazy. And Stack, man, I sent you the invite, so 205. Check that. Make sure you got it. Let me send it again. I'll get you in here before I'll try to get you in here before we move to the next topic. Let me see. So I'll stall here a minute. But yeah, man, that Wildlands is crazy. My game, my other game, everybody knows, my other game that keeps me busy outside of Madden is Battlefield. I'm still playing Battlefield. Love that. Dez, we got to get back on here, man. I know I said that last week. But yeah, man, I do play NHL offline from time to time. I play FIFA too, more than people would think. I just haven't got around to really making videos about it because I just don't know the sport. I don't feel like my videos would be entertaining or anything because I don't know the sport. Other than that, believe it or not, man, just to take my mind, put my mind at ease and get away from being so sim-minded all the time. I play live mobile from time to time. I might even start playing Madden mobile. Just ironically, it's crazy. People want to see it. A lot of people have been asking me, even though the video doesn't seem to get a lot of views, a lot of people are like, hey, man, I like when you do more of those. So I try to do a lot of different things. But like you said, man, Madden is the focus. and 2K. Those are the games that we primarily play. I'm trying to play 2K. Excuse me, guys. I actually got some videos to cut up tonight. It's the same as Madden. Sometimes I will honestly say this, and I know AZ people are gonna go crazy when I say this. At times, 2K is a little more frustrating than Madden. At times, because I think the direct correlations, like on the court, sometimes are a little more visible than it is in Madden, if that makes sense. So you see some of the crazy things happen at times that just jump right out at you. And I'm playing it, I'm going through my league. I'm trying to recreate the Sixers, thing. So you guys will see it, but I don't know how long that's going to last because it is a frustrating game, man. 205, I see you just sent me an invite. That's not going to work. I'm not going to be able to join your hangout while we're on this one. I'm sending you the invite again. It should be coming to your email, man. I'm not sure what's happening. But yeah, man, I guess, while we wait for him, AZ, we can go ahead and move on to hey, there goes Smitty. Smitty is back in the building. Smitty, can you hear us? Smitty. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, you can't hear us?
I don't know. He on mute, so.
He can hear us. All right.
He's on mute.
Hold on. No, he's not on mute. Oh, yeah, he is. He's on mute. Unmute, Smitty, if you hear me. I don't know if I think he's saying he can't hear us. All right, he's coming, y'all. Wow, this has been a funny night, man. Smitty, people have been laughing at you, buddy. This has been some special live stream here today. Let me see. All right, y'all. So he said he'll be back here in a minute. Don't see Stack, still hasn't come. Guys, I've gotten so wrapped up into what I'm doing. I look up and I see my Mac has 6% on it, so I need to run over here and get the charger. AZ, man, entertain the guys for another minute or so. I'll be right back. AZ. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah, I was saying I need to run, get my charger. Give me about 30 seconds. I was saying entertain these guys real quick, man. I didn't even realize I didn't have my plug in the Mac. It's about to cut out on me. I'll be right back.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know, man. Y'all, I wonder what people are thinking in terms of what they think is going to be in Madden 18. What really concerns me is just what they, I guess, want to market. Because that's what it boils down to. What's going to be the back of the box stuff that they say, okay, let's hang our hat on this and let's market this to the people. Because it comes to a point where, like Sim said earlier, we felt 17 at launch was right there on the cusp. And if that's the case, then I feel like 18 should be another building block on that cusp. To the fact of we're like, okay, they took it and they ran with it, and this is where we are now.
Mm-hmm.
But, at the same time, the pessimist in me is like, yeah, but eventually they're going to mess it up. So it's like, I do wonder what they have in store for 18. I'm right there. My top things are player movement, ball tangibility, being back where it's supposed to be, because honestly, I felt it was great at launch in 17. And then at the same time, the passing game being opened up to where if I throw a pinpoint pass, that's it. You're not warping to get in front of me, or no, the ball's not going through my man. If I put it there, it's there. And then at the same time, if I put it there and the receiver's not there, it's an incompletion. It's too many interceptions in the game to me. And like I said, there's no such thing as a broken up. You hardly see a broken up interception to where if a cornerback is playing a wide receiver, you'll see pass breakups from the cornerback. What about interception breakups? To where the wide receiver turns into the DB and break them up. Not saying that they're not in the game. You just don't see them as frequently as you see the other mess that goes on. So I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to 18, but my concern is what are they going to try to market, and is that feature going to actually be football related? Because like Sim said, the tackle battle stuff, we could have done without that.
Oh, man.
There's other ways to break tackles or to have the appearance of broken tackles without button pressing and playing mini games. But at the same time, I kind of felt in the other direction. I had this video, and hopefully I'm going to release it soon, of fumble recoveries in this game. They are atrocious. The ball will lay on the ground and just warp to somebody out of nowhere. I would rather have fight for the fumble than the ball laying on the ground and then just go whoop right into somebody's hand. Like, I don't know. That's just me, in my opinion, but I would rather have fight for the fumble than a fumble recovery that just doesn't have any ball physics or any rhyme or reason to it. It just magically warps into a defender or an offensive player's hand. I'm tired of that. That's cost me a few games or a few possessions that it shouldn't have. So
I fully agree with that. I like, and I think a lot of us can agree, I like the ball physics moments at times, but they got to fix the way they react and actually recover. But we got 205. We'll definitely come on, man, here and say what it is you want to spread. It's back on some of the things that were discussed a little bit prior, but 205 is on you. What you got, man?
What's up, guys? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what up?
What's up? First thing I want to talk about is the games we have coming out this year. I'm super excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. I can't wait for Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man, God of War. That game looks
there
beautiful.
you go. I'm sorry. Now I am looking forward to that. I ain't that old. I did see God of War and Spider-Man. So I'm looking forward to those.
Last of Us 2 looks amazing. The trailer that I seen for that game is great. That game almost looked like PS4 graphics back on the PS3, and then when they put it on the PS4, remastered, it was a beautiful thing because I didn't play it on the PS3. I played it when it came out on the PS4. That was awesome. Mass Effect, I'm looking forward to that game. What I'm really looking forward to is to see how the PS4 Pro does now that these games are coming out, in 2017 and everything. My biggest concern is when people was talking about the Pro wasn't looking super right off the chain with the 4K and everything. Well, people forget that they said it was up to the development team if they was going to do anything with them. And a lot of people haven't. A lot of the developers haven't done anything. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what goes on with that. Also, we have Xbox One Scorpio coming out in August, so we got to see how much they're really going to put into that as far as everything goes there.
Yo. Well, he was talking, then he went on mute.
Can y'all hear me?
There you go.
Now we can.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Also excited to see what they do with the Scorpio. It's supposed to come out in August, from what I hear. An $800 console, so we'll see what we get with that. Just want to see what Madden has to offer when they go on the Pro and Scorpio together. NBA Live 2K, or not NBA Live, excuse me, 2K, NBA 2K. I got that game like a couple weeks ago. I got it for the cheap for like 30-something bucks, and then I went out and paid another $50 because I didn't feel like grinding through all that garbage. And I had to pay for VC because you're not doing anything, and everybody is doing all this. So this pay-to-play motto they got in NBA 2K17, and the game hasn't changed in 5 years. I'm sorry to tell y'all. Anybody that tells y'all this game is the top notch of sports games is must be smoking crack, because I don't see it. And I've been playing this game since 2008, and the game had problems then, and Jordan came on the cover. Everybody was excited for that, and it's just went downhill ever since 12. So I don't know. We talk about Madden a lot, and I have issues with some of the things that goes on with Madden. But my biggest thing is not even the stuff they put in the game. My biggest part of it is this whole thing is when they rip it out after 43 days, guys, something has to change. Like this ripping out, tearing up stuff. Like, I understand they say they haven't done it, but I just can't believe that, because the running game is not the same. It's not been the same since launch time. And October 6th, we got the first tuner or patch or whatever it was, and it's just went downhill. Like everything is changing in this game. And people saying that it was just slight changes here and there, but didn't Rex himself say that every time they touch something, they break something else? And my biggest part of this is like, if they're really going to move to the Frostbite, you know, we've had two other engines that was supposed to be the stuff, and then we won't really know where we're going from here, because those engines didn't feel that much polished when they come out the gate. And I'm not even mad about the physics or anything like that. It's just that every time we add something, it feels like it gets ripped out from under us. And it hurts for guys like me who want to play football. I don't understand how we have to keep fighting every year just to get some of the same stuff that we just had previous. Like it feels like every time AZ says that it feels like 16 all over again with a little bit of the zone play, that's how I feel about it. I don't understand that. And I said this in the chat earlier. No matter what anybody says about 2K, they're right on the same level with Madden, because they'll do some good stuff, and then about a month into the game or so, they're having to patch up stuff too because people are complaining. So it's not just Madden, and I don't understand how it works for Madden and NBA 2K or whatever, and FIFA, and all these other games don't get that done to them. I mean, I can play Battlefield 1, and I don't feel like I'm getting stuff ripped out of that game. And people can say, well, the engines are different, it's been set up different. Well, Battlefield still has messed up parts. When the game came out, people was literally getting spawned right in front of people dying. And now they're starting to weed that out a little bit. But we talk about games that don't have bugs. Look at Battlefield 4. It took them 2.5 years to get that game up to par to where it was, and they already had Hardline out. And then they got a Battlefield 1 coming down the pipe. So, I mean, a lot of these games don't come out without bugs or glitches or something wrong with them. And it's that way with all these genres of games. unless you get a game that's not really an online type game. I don't know if y'all signed up for Wildlands, the beta, but I was kind of wanting y'all to do that. If y'all haven't joined that yet. I mean, I'm sure it's going to have bugs in it too, but I'm just wondering when we're actually going to be able for Rex to stand up and keep some of these things. I know he had to fight to keep the kicking meter and stuff like that, but even it got to him a little bit. And I don't mean to take up all y'all's time, but I'll let y'all go.
No, real quick, 205 before you go, because I saw something interesting on Twitter. There was a conversation with Smitty and Rex, and I think a few other people. Well, Smitty mentioned the run game, and Rex did make a good point when he said stretch was overpowered. But I just wanted to hear from you, like, what part of the run game to you just feels like that got messed up? Because I want to get examples from everybody, because I hear so many opinions. Some people tell me that they think the run game is better. So I just like to hear everyone's experience.
This is how I feel, and I've played this game for hours upon hours. Okay, when you played the run at the beginning of the year, if you ran a stretch play, a lot of people wanted to stay in quarters coverage. It didn't work this year. Well, it's worked in every other year of stopping the run. People was getting blown up off the ball, getting destroyed. People was playing out of their gaps. If you think about it like this, the user plays totally different from what you see in the NFL. And Rex made a point where he said he has statistics of the run game, right, of the NFL. It's 4.5, 4.2, something like that, yards per carry. That's fine. You can say that, but you're talking about users that is not used to playing football, don't really know how to play football, or if they do know how to, they literally going to cheat the game in any way, shape, or form they can. All right, so let's throw that out the window. So already the analytics are messed up. Number two, if you notice, because I put this out in a video, now when you hit the line of scrimmage, if you're holding down R2, as soon as you hit the line of scrimmage, it's an automatic insta shed, and they tackle you. Now, I've noticed numerous times I've tried this, I've put in practice mode and everything else. If you don't touch the R2 button, you can literally walk through the line of scrimmage, they stay engaged, and you can literally wait till you get past the second level, hit R2 and burst and take off. But if you do it as you hit the line of scrimmage, like as soon as you hit the hole like you're supposed to in real life, it's an insta shed and you get nailed. It happens all the time. I'm not going to say every play, but I would say about 85% of the time. Because I've seen insta shed so much that it makes me sick. And see, this is my problem. When you talk about the stretch play, here's my big issue. I said this earlier. One play does not make the whole game. So if one play is messing up the run game, what about all the rest of the run plays that it's caused total havoc in? Mm-hmm. That's my issue. How is it that, okay, everybody was in the room. So I'm not mad. I'm not the angry gamer. I'm not come out here and start screaming and hollering and cussing and say, that dude that called Rex and told his child that he needs to have cancer or what, that dude should be kicked in the throat. Sorry, but true. But I'm not like that. And I respect Rex and that team and everything. But my biggest issue is, like I said earlier, if you touch one thing, it breaks something else. I don't think one play should have totally said, here, take and do all this. My thing is, like they've done before in the past, where they've took plays out of the game because it was messing it up and they left the rest in. See, that's my biggest problem. It's like we always talk about legacy issues and stuff like that. If you really want to get down to it, Madden has a lot of legacy issues that has hindered this game. But like I said before, 2K has got awful issues as far as legacy issues because their animation literally takes control of your player. You have no control anymore, and that's it. I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say when you have a game like NBA who literally takes control of your player at points in the game to where you have no control. There's like times when I try to make passes in NBA 2K17, and it's been this way for a long time. You're throwing the ball out of bounds. You don't feel like you have any control over your team. And I think Madden's doing a better job with that, but they still have a lot of issues like that, especially when it comes to tangibility to the ball. And see, this is the thing when Rex, and I think maybe it was said on this show, I'm not sure. If everything is tied together and you got pulling guards and stuff like that, I think it interferes way too much. There's got to be some way we get separation between the offensive and defensive line and tethering of the ball. Because it feels like sometimes the guys are just like heat sink missiles, and wherever the ball goes, they follow. It's like there's no way to like on play action pass. There's no way to fool these dudes anymore. It was a lot better at pre-patch, but now it just feels like wherever the ball goes, they go. It's like they have. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like everything's tangible to the football, and I don't know how they can get rid of that, but that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, man. Well, we definitely appreciate your insight. We got to hurry up and try to wrap here. Smitty, we're going to let you close us out. We trying to we need to be done by 10. You know, we got a live draft going on, and, you know, respect to everybody in that league. Nobody wants to be up all night. So, Smitty, close us out with the last 3 minutes. The only thing I would say before I throw it to you is what I always say, guys. Until the game gets to a point where it's less dice roll and dial, it's either going to be too good or too bad. That's the problem with all of these sports, well, mainly 2K and Madden. Until they can find a way to eliminate that part of the dice roll aspect, it's either going to be too high or too low. And we either going to like it or we're not. So it's a tough struggle, but I fully agree. But go ahead and close us out, Smitty, so we can wrap up here.
All right. Excuse me. Now, I know I've been knocked out pretty much, but, you know, my daughter's been sick with pneumonia for the past, you know, little bit. So it's been a lot of long nights and everything. So that's what that all came from, you know what I mean? So, but that's part of the whole fatherhood.
That's life, man.
That's part of the fatherhood package, you know what I'm saying? So that comes with the territory, man. Thanks. But no, I mean, you know, when we talk about Madden and we talk about any of these games, man, you know, like me playing the game the way I'm playing it, yeah, I'm sacrificing playing, you know, playing, you know, with all the online features and all that, and league play and all that. But my thing is, at the end of the day, is where did I enjoy Madden at? I enjoyed Madden like I talked about before. Before the game dropped, we myself, Sim, and AZ, we was texting video clips to each other back and forth about all this stuff we saw, all these aspects of the game that were happening and everything and what have you. That all went away. That's why you got dudes when these tuners and patches and stuff all came out. That's why you seen people go on OS and say, like, you know, when tuners came out and updates and stuff, people were saying then, how can I put this game back to the original state without any of the patching? How can I do it? Because of how the game was playing. So that's the whole thing. It's like the game was a lot. There was a lot, even with the issues that it had, there was a lot of good stuff in it at launch based off of what they promoted. A good number of that got dialed back in those patches and tuners. So we want to play the game in the state, and even from what Rex had said, and then I'll cap it off with this. Rex has said that about the play, but then think about us when we play in when we play in online leagues and all that stuff. People have their own rules and regulations and stuff like that in these leagues in terms of what kind of plays you can call or can't call, or how many times you can call them. I can apply the same rule to myself and say, okay, well, I just won't call stretch. There's plenty of running plays that I can call. So it's not a big deal. I'm like, that small morsel doesn't take out the big picture. That's one bad pixel in a very beautiful picture. You see what I'm saying? And I can live with that. But that's furthermore why I say they need to have simulation mode and settings and sliders like NHL. Like what he said in that PX1 interview. They need to have that, because that kind of game, those kind of gameplay options will keep me from doing stuff like this. I don't have to dial it all the way back and everything. I could just pick what tuner or whatever I want to play on, or I could play it at factory and just go ahead and have a ball. See what I'm saying? Give me the option to do so, flat out. And then give me the hardcore setting that's going to function properly. Not the way all Madden has been historically, where it cheats you, but give me a game that really is going to push my strategic acumen to the limit. I'd rather have that. I would love to have it that way and keep building upon that progressively. In your play nows and your mutts and everything and your CFMs and all that, ultimate goal. So from there, that's pretty much what we want. We want to have those options. Of course, we want somebody else to get in the mix, like AZ said. We would love for another company to get in the mix, but until that happens, you got EA with the football, and you got 2K with the basketball. Now, of course, we got the rumblings with live and everything, but until there's some true fruition on that, there ain't nothing to talk about. So we'll see what happens on that front. But in the meantime, we got to lean on these guys. We're going to keep leaning on these people because they're the ones that got to deliver the experience. So we ain't got no choice but to lean on these guys and make it happen. So that's pretty much all I got, man. So I'll throw it back to you, Sim.
Yeah, guys, as we close up the show here, I'm in the living room here. My son is sitting here, so y'all might hear a little bit of background noise, but we're ending the show right now. Pulling up the game here so I can attend this draft. But yeah, man, pretty much like what Smitty said. I mean, it's going to be that way until one or two things happen, until they can figure out how to make the gameplay more organic, even with the scripted animations, like Azure said. Maybe there's a way that they add more animations that don't overload it like 2K does at times, but allow the ratings to be more prevalent. Like, try to create these realistic gaps. At the same time, I don't think that, and here's a misconception, Smitty and AZ, sometimes, I don't want to go too far in it because we're about to wrap up, but people sometimes when they play video games, they expect things to work all the time. Like somebody would be playing with Von Miller and they would say, no, he's supposed to win. That don't happen. You don't see, you know what I'm saying? You don't see guys get 5 sacks a game like Khalil Mack. That comes once in a blue. So it's always going to be an argument there. And I think that's why you're seeing some people, even with the run game, why some of us, feel like it's not as good. Some people feel it's better. You're going to always run into that. I just wish what I'm hoping for with Madden is they find a consistent way to allow the most realistic outcome to play out. So if they have to do that with the ratings gaps, cool. My dream would be, and I know this is a pipe dream probably because I'm sure it's hard to do, if they can get the game to a point where it is completely being governed by physical interaction, mass, weight, technique, strength, all of those things dictating the outcome. If the game ever gets to that point, that solves all our problems. Where leverage and everything matters in the trenches with DB and wideout interactions. You got a big, strong, guy like remember that year, guys, when they put what's my man's name? Brandon Brown, I think, the year when the Seahawks, they put him on on Gronkowski, or it might have been Chancellor. But when the game gets to that point, then we got something. But that's wishful thinking. So I think it's gonna have to be more along the lines like what AZ said, man. Give us more animations, especially down in the trenches, and get it to a point where your ratings are really locking in, and traits, multiple traits that help dictate outcomes as well. So it's gonna be a battle. But like the boys said, we got to stay on their neck. We're going to continue to do that, guys. And, we appreciate everybody who came out for tonight's show. And it was a pretty big crowd. Even right now, we still have 33 live viewers. At one time, we was up to like 42. Outstanding, man. Let's keep this movement going. And, I don't want to be the last voice. So, Smitty and AZ, y'all got any last words real quick before we go? Either one of you guys?
Go ahead, AZ.
Just appreciate the support as always, man. And if anybody is out there that's listening that wants to be involved in the league, we got a wait list to get you in the league, man. Just hit myself or Sim or Smitty up, and we'll get you involved if you're interested in playing with us in the league, man. It's really enjoyable. To play in swim in our fishbowl, because without this fishbowl, I wouldn't be playing Madden right now. So.
Very true. I know some of you guys asked if we would stream the draft. I'm probably not, man, because I won't be talking too much. So not this time, not this go round. But yeah, you're right. The game is very enjoyable with amongst us, but it's like, we want to step outside of this sometimes as well. And it just makes it hard, man, when you try to go in some of these other arenas and football principles are not being respected. So that's all I ask. I want the game to get to that point to where if I'm more knowledgeable and my personnel is better than any guy, even attorney guy, if I'm outsmarting him and I got the personnel, I should be able to win that off of football. Not because the game is deciding to allow or not allow something. But that's it, guys. Thanks for the support. We'll catch you guys later. Hope everybody has a good evening and enjoy these football games. I think they're going to be special this weekend. But all right, guys, we appreciate it, man. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.